All right, Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday class on Yalkut Yosef. We are somewhat in the middle of Hilchot Bet HaKiseh, how a person needs to compose himself in the bathroom and things that are related to that. So we will see what happens when a person also holds himself back from going to the bathroom. Hey, Simon, Baruch haba. We spoke about that, about holding back, how someone who does that is going over the Isur of Bal Teshaketzu. It's one of the Isurim from the Torah, one of the stuff that are forbidden by the Torah, to hold back yourself. It's like holding the impurity within you. We saw the situations in where you will be allowed to do it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that today. But the next topic is an interesting topic. It's about, forgive me, but Torah teaches us everything. Passing gas. A person needs to pass gas. Is he allowed to hold that within him, or is he also going over the sin of Bal Teshaketzu by holding something within him? Yalkut Yosef says, Mutar le'amid atzmo. You are allowed to hold yourself back from passing gas in a place that there are other people over there, when the thing makes you embarrassed or it may cause other people discomfort, right? So in those cases, obviously you're allowed to hold it in. And especially he says you should be careful when you are putting on your tefillin, that of course it's forbidden to do that while you have the tefillin on you. And if you are not able, and this is a solution that he brings, the Mishnah Berurah on the bottom brings it as well, that if you have the tefillin on and you're not able to hold yourself from passing gas, then a solution would be to remove the tefillin from where they are. Let's say the tefillin is on the middle of the head, so move it a little bit to the side, the arm, whatever it is, and that's not considered like you have tefillin on anymore, and then you would do that, right? It's not, obviously if you could hold it better, but if not, that's the solution that is offered. Welcome, William. Welcome, Giacomo. Uncle Mike as well. Bruchim habayim. All right. Now, regarding, as we said it, we called it last week, it's a little uncomfortable where you have to Torah. So we have number one and number two. So he says over here that number two, of course, is problematic to hold back. Obviously, much more than number one. Do not hold it back. Now, what happens? I'm in the Kanisa, I'm in Bet Knesset. There's Torah reading, or someone is reading the Megillah, or someone is reading the Hallel, and now he has to go to the bathroom. Does he have to stop right away? Can he continue? So we've understood that when someone is alone, don't hold back. But now you're in some sort of situation, Torah reading, Megillah reading. Should I hold it back, or also do I go away? In that case, says the Yalkut Yosef, Yesayem ha'inyan she'osek bo ve'achar kach yitzeh lenekavav. You're allowed to finish the matter that you're taking care of, Megillah reading, Torah reading. Listen, when you leave, you're going to come back, you're not going to be able to complete it. So you're allowed to. Also, he's going to talk about someone who's in the Torah class as well. We'll see. And even if he can't hold himself, so maybe we should remind you guys what we spoke about last time. You have 72 minutes. That's the time that's defined by Chachamim, that anything that you can hold up to 72 minutes is considered still like it's in your control. But if you feel like you're not going to be able to hold what's within you for 72 minutes, then it's already a problem. So he says here, even if you don't, you're not able to hold it for 72 minutes, but since you're in the middle of a Shiur Torah, or in the middle of Kriyat Megillah, it's okay, hold it until the class ends. Unless he says it's in a situation where it's not 72 minutes, where right now you have to go a second away, you can't hold it, even like it's really, really pushing. In that case, then of course, that's a problem. Like when you're really holding back very, very difficultly, in that situation, then obviously leave. But if it's not that, then when you're in a Torah class, you're in a Torah group, whatever it is, Megillah, you can hold back. Okay, now you're teaching a class to others, hopefully soon. Whoever teaches others, halacha class, whatever it is, between Mechan Avit, you're saying about Torah, and now you're worried that if you leave and go to the bathroom, all these people that are used to hearing halacha from you or Torah from you, they're going to not be learning Torah because you're the teacher, right? So in that case, you don't have to be strict upon yourself to leave to go to the bathroom, because you measure, what are we gaining? What are we missing here? Everybody's going to miss Torah. Torah is the most important thing, and therefore do not leave, hold back. However, if he by himself was learning Torah and has to go to the bathroom, and he knows that he cannot hold this for 72 minutes, stop, and go outside and do it. And you should do it right away. Unless he says, you know that, let's say the restroom is somewhere far away, and if you go, it's going to cause you bitul Torah. If I go right now, I don't know, a conversation, oh, where are you from? People are going to start talking to you, you're going to lose time on that, then it's okay. You can hold back as well. But generally, the idea is that when you're alone, go there. It's more strict for you to go to the bathroom. But when you're involved in a situation, Torah reading, Gila, you're giving a class, then there's more leniency to hold it in. Right. Let's see the comment by the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says, Yalkut Yosef brings him, Mutar lo lishmoa kol kriyat Torah. He's allowed to listen to the entire kriyat Torah, not just one aliyah and run to the bathroom. You can hear the whole. In Rishon, you feel like you need to go to the bathroom, you could stay until the end, he says. And you're allowed to answer, Baruch Hashem HaMevorach le'olam va'et. When someone says the Baracha, Baruch Hashem HaMevorach, you're allowed to answer. Why? This is the foundation that he brings. Kevan she'itchil beheter. Once you start something in a way that is permitted, you're allowed to finish it kedarko, in the natural way. So you started hearing the Torah, you started hearing the Megillah, even if it's going to take 40 minutes now, you're allowed to continue within that. Now he's going to describe to us the actual physical way of how to go to the bathroom. Someone thinks, should I be quick in the bathroom? Should I take my time? Let's see what the Yalkut Yosef says. Lo yeshev bimhera uvechozek. Do not sit down quickly and with power. Velo yanos litrok atzmo. And don't push yourself too hard. And do not go standing as well, he says. Sit down. Velo yimaher letzet מבית הכיסא. ברור לו שאינו צריך עוד. Sorry, question or was that mistake? Okay. And don't, he says, so first of all, don't sit down quickly, don't go standing, don't be quick to leave the bathroom until you're sure that you have nothing left to give to the bathroom. Right. Bizman Rabotenu, in the time of Chachmei Talmud, he's going to mention a custom that they had, that you see in the Gemara. They had a custom that when they would go to the restroom, they would say, Hitkabdu mechubadim, honor yourselves, the honored ones. What is he talking about? A person, when he goes places, there are angels with him. Now, we can't see them, but Hashem sends angels with us. So when we go into the bathroom, the angels are not going to follow us into the bathroom. So to honor them, we say, Itkabdu mechubadim. Let yourself be honored, meaning you stay here, I'm going to go, I'll meet you when I come back, right? That's what they used to say. Nowadays, the Shulchan Aruch says that if someone will say that, walk into the restroom, honor yourselves, honored one. He's going to talk to the air and say that. It's going to look like gava. Oh, you think you have angels with you? Who are you? So the Shulchan Aruch says it's gava. It's too much. It's yohara. It looks like you're conceited. Although the Ari Kadosh, he brings him here, the Ari Kadosh, the Mikubal, he says that even today, you're allowed to say that if by doing that, it will help you prevent yourself from thinking about words of Torah. I don't know how that works exactly, but he says that when you say that phrase, honor yourself, honorable ones, maybe it lets like a chip go into your head where you understand that right now you're separating yourself from whatever is pure and you're going to an impure place, and that will help you remember not to think about Divrei Torah. Now, a lot of us could say, why would I think about Divrei Torah? But think about these Rabbanim, the Shulchan Aruch, the Ari, the Tanaim that lived in the time of the Gemara. Their whole life was Torah. When they would go into the bathroom, they needed something to remind themselves, oh, I can't think about this. But as someone that is a big tzaddik, he's holding in a sugya, an idea that he learned in the Gemara in his head, and he's thinking, what about this, what about that? Now he goes to the restroom. Sometimes it's hard to separate from it. That's where his mind is all the time. In fact, I think it was a story about a few tzaddikim, maybe even about Rav Ovadia, Rav Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, the father or the author, that he had some sort of procedure that he had to go through in the hospital, and he did not want to get the injection that puts him to sleep because he didn't want to stop. He said, no, I'll start thinking about the Gemara, whatever the thing that I'm dealing with right now. And once I start thinking about that, I'm in another place. You'll do what you need to do. I won't even feel it. And that's how it happened. A few tzaddikim, I've heard this story about them. Their mind is just in the Torah. So Lari says, by saying that, you're kind of reminding yourself, I'm separating from the Torah. If that will help you not go into the bathroom and think about the Torah, then you would be allowed to say it. Maybe one of you can tell me, when is it accepted that any one of us can say it? When is the time that if we think that we have angels with us, no one would think, look at these guys, they're conceited? Yom Kippur. He says on Yom Kippur, anybody could say it. You go to the bathroom, honor yourselves, honorable ones. Why? Because it's as if it's accepted. We all have angels on that day, and therefore you're allowed to say to the malachim. Okay. So now he says, whoever goes to the bathroom has to be tsanua, right? Not reveal too much of his body. And will only reveal what is necessary so that he doesn't get himself dirty. Now, in the times of the Gemara says that you're only allowed to reveal from your front a tefach and from your back 2 tefachim. Tefach is like between 3 to 4 inches. So someone needs to take off his pants. It says from the front up to 4 inches, from the back up to 8 inches. It says that was in the time of the Gemara. But since those bathrooms were kind of public, everybody could see. It wasn't like today where you have a door and you lock it and you separate, and therefore today you should also be humble and tsanua in the bathroom. Having said that, you don't have to keep those measurements of 8 inches, 4 inches. Do it in a way that you're comfortable, but remember that even though you're in a place where you think you're all alone, Hashem still sees you. And even so, reveal just what is needed for you to go comfortably. And also at night, he says, be careful to be tsanua, even if it's dark now and you're going to the bathroom and no one sees me. No, always close the bathroom for tzeniut. And every person, this halakha is for everyone, not just for Talmidei Chachamim. And even for not number 2, even for number 1, still close the door, always b'tzniut, always imagine that someone is seeing you. And he says this is an interesting halakha. Now, there's somewhere close here, but everybody's going to see me. Or there's somewhere far away that I can go that no one will see me. But in order to go there, I'm going over Balte Shakatsu. I have to go to the bathroom. It says, even though it'll take you a while to get there, it's okay to hold it so that you do it in a tsanua way. That's more important. And don't be worried about Balte Shakatsu. Don't worry, but I'm holding it in. It's asu. It's not like I'm in a Torah class. I'm holding it in for what reason? It says, Gadol Kvod HaBeriot. The honor of the biriot. Biriot are people, meaning your honor that you won't be embarrassed that maybe people are seeing you is more important to Hashem, that you won't embarrass yourself rather than going somewhere that everybody will see you just so you can do it quick. Torah shows us Hashem is merciful. He doesn't want us to be embarrassed. It's okay. Wait until you're in a place that is more tsanua. Now what happens? I'm going to the restroom, but it's impossible to go because it smells bad in that room. Let's say someone left a gift in that room. It's uncomfortable. What am I going to do? I have to open the door, else I can't breathe, he says. So in that case, there is leniency to open the door, assuming that no one sees you. If someone sees you, obviously no. But if you're going to be able to open the door without anyone seeing you...
Ziv, can I ask you a question? Sorry.
Shalom Aleichem. Wow.
Shalom Aleichem. No, I'm taking a ride on Ilan's.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah. As far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I saw some source that's saying that a man allowed to urinate in front of a woman if he needs to go.
Yes.
And
yes,
how is it going with what you just said?
It says even afilu lifnei chamato, even in front of his mother-in-law, right? It's a case that is brought down. So
even more so, yeah.
Right. There is a source like that. I wonder how it aligns with what Yalkut Yosef says, but that source just shows us how important it is not to hold back. But I guess there are different levels of having to hold back. So as we mentioned before, when you're able to hold a little bit, then it's okay. But if someone is in a situation where you cannot hold, I guess that would be the case over there. I cannot imagine another case where he would do that if he's able to hold himself, right? So I think that's probably the distinction, but I'll look into it some more to see why that case was allowed. I'll look at the Mefarshim over there. It must be that was the situation. Could be that the halacha also changed in time. It's a good question. But nowadays, assuming a person can hold back, also, today we have closed bathrooms, we have locks. It's not like it used to be when they were in an open place and someone had to go. Where's he going to go hide right now? The times were a little bit different. He mentions it in here. It's a little bit more comfortable today, so there's more leniencies waiting until you get to somewhere that is tsanua, ki gadol kvod habriot, the honor of the people. Hashem has mercy on that as well. But let's
thank you. Sorry for interrupting. I just wondered.
Oh no, this is the fun part, the questions. Hashem. All right. הנמצא בבית הכיסא, אין לו לדבר עם חברו הנמצא בחוץ. Now the halachot of talking while someone is in the restroom. It says if you're in there, do not talk to your friend that is outside of the restroom. Do not answer your phone or do not talk at all. However, he says, if you hear your phone ringing and you have a fear that maybe it's a business call, and maybe Eli have said mamon, I'm going to lose money. This is a deal that if I don't answer now, if I wait 10 minutes, I'll lose it. Or some sort of sickness, some sort of situation that is urgent. So he says, then it's okay. There's a leniency to answer the phone, but be quick as much as you can. So generally we see it's not good to speak. Interesting, he doesn't differentiate between Hebrew or English here. Maybe you say Hebrew is a holy language. No, just talking in the restroom is not a positive thing. I heard from the brother-in-law of the author, also a son-in-law of Rav Ovadia Yosef, his name is Rav Budbul, that he says that this whole thing where we forbid a person to talk in the restroom is not when you're walking into the bathroom to wash your hands, is when someone is actually doing what he needs to do in the bathroom. While he's doing that, then it's forbidden for him to talk. But if it's after that and he's just in that room, obviously there's more leniency. Yalkut Yosef doesn't say it here, but I think that's an accepted thing. אפילו אין שם אלא בני הבית בלבד. So even if, let's read the whole line, אך יקצר בדבריו, אבל בלא זה אין לדבר בית הכיסא כלל. אפילו אין שם אלא בני הבית בלבד. All right, prevent yourself from talking. That's the bottom line here. Unless you want to ask for something that has to do with the bathroom. You're out of toilet paper. You need soap. So you can call out while you're in that room, okay? But if it doesn't have to do with that, a little bit, it's different comparing the chala and the hamotzi to this, but also in hamotzi, when someone cannot talk, right? He said hamotzi lechem min haaretz, he has to take the bread. He wants to say, give me salt. So when you say, give me salt, it's not a hafsaka. It's not considered a break because that's part of it's something that you need in order to do what you're doing. Similarly, I would say that over here, you're not supposed to talk, but if it's something that you need to do what you're doing, you need the soap or you need the water or you need some sort of wet towel, whatever you need in there for the action, then that would be permitted to talk about. Okay. It says in the Torah, says Yalkut Yosef, כתוב בתורה, והיה מחנך קדוש, לפיכך אסור להרהר בדברי תורה בבית הכיסא. You are not allowed to think about Torah stuff, Torah-related things, while you're in the restroom. And even more so, obviously, to speak, all right? So, kol sheken, once he says kol sheken, we understand something. What do we understand? What's more severe, to think about divrei Torah or to speak divrei Torah? So according to this, we see to speak divrei Torah is much more severe, but to think about it or to hear it is also forbidden in the restroom. However, it's not the same level. Or you can't even say advar Torah even if it's in English, he says. That doesn't matter. So he gives a solution. He says, now you're in the restroom. You're a Torah guy, right? All day you're thinking about Torah. What are you going to do in the restroom? He says, that's a time to think about business. Think about, what did the accountant tell me? What did the attorney tell me? How am I going to sell these stones? What about the real estate? All these things, that's the time to think about it, right? All day think about Torah. But when you're in there, go to that direction. Think business. So that you won't think about divrei Torah. You're also allowed to look at a newspaper over there that doesn't have any divrei Torah. Now we're thinking to ourselves, what newspaper has divrei Torah to begin with? Obviously, Rav Ovadia or Rav Yitzchak Yosef is not going to promote reading newspapers, but he's referring to some sort of Jewish magazine, I guess, that is allowed according to the Rabbanim. But if there's divrei Torah in there, then do not look at that as well. And he says, what are you going to do on Shabbat? I gave you a recommendation. I said, to prevent yourself from thinking about Torah, think about business. But on Shabbat, we're not allowed to think about business. What do you do on Shabbat? He says, on Shabbat, nice. Yiharher bedvarim niflaim shera'a v'shama. Think about wonderful things that you saw or heard, right? You saw some sort of things that excited you. Let your mind go to that direction just so that you can prevent yourself from thinking about divrei Torah in the restroom. All right, now the location of the restroom. A person is about to build a new home, and he builds a bathroom in that home. So he says, יש לבנותו רחוק מהחדר שיושבים ועוסקים בתורה. You have a library or a room where you're going to learn Torah. Don't put the bathroom right next to that. Why? שלא יגיע ריח רע. A person is sitting there learning Torah. One day there's going to be bad smell. It's going to go into that room. Why? Keep it away from the places of Torah, because once there's a bad smell, you're not allowed to learn Torah. Even if it's behind the closed door, if the smell is there, 2 doors are closed. If there's a bad smell, you're not allowed to learn. You have a dirty diaper. No, I put it in 2 wraps. Yeah, but if the smell is there, you're not allowed to learn Torah. V'kol sheken, and how much more so when you build a bet knesset or a bet midrash over there. Keep the restrooms as far as away from the area that people are praying or people are learning. ואומנם, אם יראה דבר זה, מותר להיכנס לבית הכיסא לעשות צלחה. But if the case is where it is right there, so someone is going to the bathroom, let's say the kollel, the bathroom is right by the kollel. He walks into the bathroom and he hears the rabbi say, oh, Rav said this, Abaye said that. Whoa, he's in the bathroom. Is he allowed to go? He says, yes, he's allowed to go because it's considered honest. He has no choice. But distract yourself as much as you can. Think about business, cheshbonot, and be careful that the bad smell should never go into the Bet Knesset, especially when in the time of tefillah, because just like learning Torah, just like tefillah, you can't pray. You can't pray. Imagine, I'll give you a practical thing that happens to people sometimes. Someone, if they don't have tefillin on, like in Mincha and Arvit, people don't have tefillin on, so halachically you are allowed to pass gas, right? There's not a problem with that. But if there's going to be a smell, so if someone is praying Amidah and all of a sudden, forgive me, but this is the halacha, someone passed gas next to him and there's a bad smell. So in the middle of Amidah, he has to stop. He cannot continue. He has to stop until the smell left completely. And once the smell is gone, he can continue. It's the halacha. Even though there's nothing of substance in there. Bad smell prevents you from Torah. So he says, therefore, be careful to put the bathroom far away. And if there is a bad smell coming in, at least while they're praying, be very careful for that, because that's going to have to make people stop in their tefillah. Right. אף על פי שאסור להרהר בדברי תורה, מכל מקום מותר לדבר תורה בית הכיסא ובית המרחץ, כדי לנצל מאיסור ערעור אישה. Wow, what an halacha. He says, I told you until now, you cannot think about Torah in the bathroom. However, if something chas v'chalila happened and your mind is taking you to think about something not kosher that you saw, maybe a not sanua woman, something like that, if your mind is drawing you to that direction, and you know that by thinking of Torah, it'll save you from thinking about that, do it, he says. Think about Torah, even in the bathroom. Just stay away from that isur of thinking of that not impure woman, he says. Why? Because thinking about divrei Torah b'makom metunaf in a dirty place is the Rabbanan, is forbidden from Chachamim. It's not forbidden from the Torah. But thinking about that woman is already asur from the Torah, lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem. So it's better you go over a isur from Chachamim and save yourself from the Isur Torah. Wow. All right. Now what happens if I'm about to go into the bathroom and I have a little tehillim in my pocket, or I have a bag, I have a tefillin there? Am I allowed to bring holy stuff into the bathroom? It says, Kodem shikanes lebet hakiseh. Before you walk in, put the book outside of the bathroom and then go in. But if you're in a place of goyim, or someone in a subway, I don't know where, he's going to leave his book outside. It's not going to be there anymore. It may be disgraced as well. Right? So if that's the case, then mutaro likanes lebet hakiseh. Then you're allowed to put it in your pocket. Why? So we'll see soon. He's going to talk about the covers. Ideally, you should know, once something has 2 covers on it, it's protected. So if you want to bring a book into a place that is not holy, obviously it's better not to, but if you have to, you're in the airport or whatever it is, if there are 2 covers on that book, you're covered. So sometimes the book itself has a cover. Soon we'll see, he's going to talk about that. Is the book cover considered a cover or not? And above that, a nylon or your pocket. Your pocket is considered a cover as well, if it's in your knapsack. So he says, if you have to, you're allowed to do that.
What about tefillin, like you said, like you're in an airport?
So if you notice, your tefillin are already double covered, because your tefillin are usually in the small bag. That's already placed in the big bag. So that whole thing has a cover on it already. All right. And the more you cover, the better. So even if someone would say that the smaller bag of tefillin also have some level of purity, but it's already inside the big bag as well. But it's interesting that you mentioned that. So, maybe we'll mention it already now. There's a different level of kedusha between something that is handwritten, like a tefillin, Torah, Megillah, Mezuzah, or a book like this, which is obviously also kadosh. But the level of protection that they require are different. So soon we're going to see, interesting that you mentioned tefillin, which is more severe. He says, however, regarding a picture, someone has a keychain with a picture of a Rav. He says, that's not a problem. You're allowed to take pictures of Rabbanim into the bathroom. Obviously, don't put it in disgrace, but there's no problem carrying that picture within you. Okay, comments. Here we go. He brings the Maharsham. This is one of the comments on the bottom. That from the Chida is Rabbeinu Chaim Yosef David Azulai, the famous giant Moroccan rabbi, lived about 200-300 years ago. The Chida says that books that have a cover on them. Let's take this book, right? This is the old version of the Me'am Loez. So this book has a cover, right? You see this. So he says once it has a cover, this is already considered one cover, all right? And therefore, if it's put in your pocket or in your bag, then this book is considered that it has two covers, and that's sufficient. However, in a different book of his, the Birkei Yosef, he brings over there that if the book, even though it has this cover, but if part of it is still seen, you see this part, you could see it. Since part of it is still seen, it's not considered covered, and therefore it's not sufficient. So what do? Is the cover considered a cover, or do we need two covers? So the Yalkut Yosef saves the day. What does he say? He says, it depends. Like Simon said before about tefillin, it's different than a book like this. This book, since it's printed by a machine, so if we have a safek, if this is considered a cover or not, okay, we have a safek, we put one more cover, it's fine. But when it's a holy thing that was written by a person, it has much more higher level, and therefore the safek, right, if the book, let's say, I don't know, Megillah or something, right, and it has a cover where you still see part of the Megillah, then this cover is not sufficient as one cover. We will only count the outside cover as one cover. Over there, you'll have to be more strict. So put two covers above it. That's the difference between a written book or a machine-written book. You have a couple more minutes. All right. Lichtov dvar Torah al sefer kodesh patuach. Now you see people, they're taking the sefer and they're writing comments. They're learning, so they want to write a comment. Is it a problem? Is it a disgrace for the book? This book is a pure, nice, holy book, and now you have writings on it. Write your comments on the side. Yes, no. So he says like this. It's only forbidden if you're putting the book in disgrace. You're just drawing on the book, characters or whatever. You're not. However, he says, but if it's the way of learning, for learning, then there's no disgrace for the book, and it's mutar. We have Isha here, so he'll tell you, we have learned with Gad Livian, I've learned with him a couple of times. You look at his Gemara, the whole Gemara, every line from all the sides, little comments written here, there. That's a disgrace. That's the most beautiful thing. Hashem wants to kiss that book. The guy wants to learn properly. That's the way it should be. However, he says, but be careful for keeping the books holy, because whoever is not careful, for example, if you put some sort of things that has a bad smell, the Gemara calls it graf shel re'i, some sort of garbage, some sort of thing that's stinky around those books, let's say for the children, it's some sort of toy or whatever the kids use, and it has a bad smell, and now the bad smell goes to the area where the books are. It says about that person that gufo mechulal ala briot. It's like you're putting the books in disgrace, and therefore you are disgraced before others, or he's putting Hashem in disgrace. Try to prevent that. Now you have Shabbat candles. I'll try to make it a practical example. Someone wants to change a diaper. It's dark in the room, but he's using the Shabbat candles as light. So he's coming next to the light, he's changing the diaper. No, don't put the child naked in front of the candles, right? That would be a bizui mitzvah. That would be using the mitzvah candles into something that is disgraceful. Even though you're allowed to enjoy light, right? Not to come to read a book. Remember, there's a whole story about that. We'll get there one day. But the Nerot Shabbat are there to give light to the room. However, don't use it for something disgraceful. And even if you're not doing it an inch away from the candles, you step 3 feet away, still, it's disgraceful. Do it in the other room, do it a little bit further away. Okay, we reached the time, and we will continue next time. Hopefully next time we'll finish the halachot of the bathroom. I hope so. And we could jump into the halachot of netilat yadayim. What's the proper way to do it in the morning before a meal? We'll see. Be'ezrat Hashem. I mean, the halachot are for the morning, but we're going to discuss the difference between the meals and the morning netilat yadayim. Be'ezrat Hashem. All right, gentlemen. Have a beautiful.
Thank you.
See you next week. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.